Hey everyone, I've been on testosterone for almost 15 weeks now. My last shot was last Tuesday. And there's not a whole lot of changes to report. As I said last video, changes have started to stagnate. The only thing that continues to make any kind of difference is my voice and the facial hair. I'm getting some sideburns. I think that's kind of cool. But since there aren't many changes to report, I'm going to start doing those Q&As that I've been talking about. And I've got my questions here. So we're going to get started. The first one is, what is the difference between transgender, transsexual, and transvestite? Okay. Transgendered people are those who are born where their gender does not match their physical sex. We don't generally need to transition, and many of us choose not to go on hormones and not to have operations for our own personal and medical reasons. It's also an umbrella term for those of us who are genderqueer or intersex. Transsexuals are those who are born where their gender does not match their physical sex, though need to go through the process of transition. Many of them believe that the gender is binary of male and female and no in between, and they need to correct it. However, there are those of us who identify as transsexual who don't believe in the gender binary. Transvestites are those who enjoy dressing up in the opposite gender's clothes. They have no desire to be the opposite gender. Now, there's a lot of argument and disagreement in the terms and their definitions, and they're usually personally defined. I generally try to avoid labels because really it's a matter of perception. If you think of yourself as transsexual, then you're a transsexual. If you think yourself transgendered, then you're transgendered. Only you can really say what you are, and that's my personal take on it. Okay, number 2. When did you find out you were trans? I was 12 when I felt something was off. When breasts, which I not so fondly refer to as tumors, started to grow and my period started, things went downhill pretty fast. However, I didn't know what transgendered people were until I was 14, and then it clicked. It wasn't until 16 that I decided to come out, however, and that brings me to my next question. The internet is an extraordinary medium. How did it affect your realization, your identity, or your security as a trans man? I.e., the internet is full of insight and dickheads. What did you find? Well, as I mentioned in the previous question, I learned what transgender was when I was 14, and I felt like it explained everything that there was ever wrong with me. But my family is what kept me from coming out at the time. I was heavily in denial until I was 16. I tried to come out online at that point, at a popular forum that I visited, Gaia actually, where I had a lot of friends and was flamed by people I considered to be those friends. The entire ordeal was something that I couldn't handle very well, and I kind of went back into my hidey hole until I was nearly 20 and overcompensated my girliness, pretending that I was just confused and I was really a girl, really, just rebelling, blah blah blah. Completely kicked to the side the notion that I could possibly be a boy until I found myself staring at the mirror and realizing if I kept on pretending, I'd be dead within the next 5 years. And when you kind of realize that, it's a little bit of a kick in the pants. Something's definitely wrong. The second time coming out was far different. The people were amazingly receptive and supportive, and I really could not have gotten through these last 2 years without them and their support. So while the internet is full of dickheads, I gotta say the good definitely outweighed the bad in my situation. I know a lot of people aren't that lucky, and I can count myself to be very blessed because of the reception and the support that I got the second time I came out. And I have bugs. Flies. Anyway. Number 3. How has your perceived sexual orientation been affected by your discovery and evolution as a trans man? Well, for the longest time, I considered myself bisexual, until the idea of sex hit, and the reality of sex hit. And then I said I was a lesbian, because the thought of having sex with a male made me physically sick to the point of throwing up, and I'm not exaggerating here. At that time, I was still having fantasies about sleeping with guys, though, so that diagnosis was totally a little screwy. Of course, I was always male in my fantasies, and that should have given me a hint, and it actually did, now that I think about it, but I ignored it. Then I figured I was a straight guy. And then I fell in love with a guy, and oh lord, my mind went into a tailspin, because I figured, hey, if I gotta be weird one way, I might as well be normal in another. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. So I've kind of settled in on pansexual, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, what is the thought process when deciding whether or not to come out to someone? First, is it dangerous for me to do so? Can this person hurt me? And if so, would they hurt me? Second, how will they react? Would it be better to say it on the phone, in person, or through text? Which option is most feasible? Third, can I handle losing this person if the reaction is not good? The answer is usually hard because I've decided not to let anyone stay in my life who can't accept me for who I am. So coming out is an anxiety attack waiting to happen most of the time. And the answer is usually yes, I can live without them, even if I don't want to. The hardest part about that one was me telling my cousin that if he couldn't accept me, then I didn't want him in my life. And I was very sorry. But I don't even let my family put me down in that respect any longer. Okay. What are some of the most common misconceptions people have about you? That I'm a butch lesbian, or that was one of them until I started testosterone and have a beard. And when I shave, I go right back to butch lesbian. I've gotten pervert a few times. That's just a phase. That something happened in my childhood to make me want to be a boy instead of a girl. The lack of a male role model in my life influenced my decision. That I'm rebelling. That I just like yaoi too much, or yaoi, or however that's pronounced. That my mother put me in too many girly clothes when I was younger and treated me like a doll, which is kind of true, but not remotely responsible for my transition. And that I must have been sexually abused. Oh, just a lot of bullshit, really. Are there any positive aspects of being trans? You know, when I first started coming out in December of 2008, I would tell you, fuck no, are you smoking something? But the more I've gone through the journey, I've surprisingly have to change my answer. Well, I still second guess myself with a lot of things. I've had to do a lot of soul searching. I mean, I'm 21 and I know exactly who I am, what I want in life. I have a clear plan and have the strength that I need to see it through, even though it's going to be really hard. It's caused me to grow balls, metaphorically for now, and grow a backbone, though I'm still working on that one. It comes with the added bonus of being able to do something, even if it's small for the community, to help other people who have had to struggle. That I feel like I'm able to offer advice or insight and make someone's life a little bit easier. It also helped me learn to survive and adapt, and I'm not sure how I would be handling all of this with my ex if I didn't have the harder experiences in life. Alright, can you explain some of the terminology used in the trans community, such as tumors, cis, genderqueer? Alright, well, tumors are generally breasts, unwanted growths on the chest, tumors. Cis means they're mentally the same gender as their biological sex, so their mind and their body kind of gels together. A cis male would be someone who is born physically male and has the mindset of a male. Genderqueer is an umbrella term for anyone who falls outside of the gender binary and considers themselves any kind of queer. Do you hope to one day be seen as a man instead of a trans man, and once you fully transition, do you still think that you'd be active in the queer community? It's a hard question to answer. Yes, I do want to be seen as a man instead of a trans man, but at the same time, being a trans man has made me go through a lot and made me the man I am. And I don't think it would be fair to completely push that aside. It's kind of like kicking a puppy who has always been there to lick your face when you're sad and be a teddy bear and occasionally pees on your shoes. It's annoying and difficult to deal with, but at the same time you don't want to kick it away because it's not all that bad and has helped you a lot. Once I fully transitioned, I'm definitely going to still be involved in the queer community. I don't feel comfortable with the fact that I'd be turning my back on a community that helped me so much when I was in need. And despite whether or not I'm fully transitioned or not, I still feel it's my duty to, do what I can to help the community. Alright, my friend just came out to me as transgendered, but I don't think she's really transgendered. I think she's confused and I don't know what to do. Okay, first of all, he's gone to the point of telling you, as his friends, that he wants this. It's probably not a new thing. Yeah, there are some people out there who convince themselves, but it takes a lot for most transgendered people to come out to their friends and say, my name is, insert name here, please start using it and call me male pronouns, because it's a huge risk. I didn't know who would support me and who I would lose. The people I lost surprised me, because they were some of the people I thought would be most supportive. It's not an easy decision just for that risk involved right there. As a friend, you only need to support him in whatever decision he makes regardless of his gender. It's something that only they can say if they are for sure, and it's not for us to decide. Allergies are horrible. Anyway, that's 10 questions, and I'm getting a little stuffed up. So, I'm gonna end my session here, and if you have any other questions that you want me to answer, or feel that needs to be out there, please send me an email at journeyqa@gmail.com, or send me a message here on YouTube, or just leave a comment, and I'll see what I can do to get to your questions. I mean, I don't have a whole lot right now, but I'd like to make this a regular thing, so your help would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, happy Sunday, and I will see you sometime next week. Bye.